Hello, today you're watching Fat Rhapsody, a show about music and its genres, and I'm your host, Vashti Zaragoza. And today, our genre is going to be disco. Yes, but first, let's get into the history.
Thank you for that amazing intro. Yes, today we're going to be talking about disco. Very fun. Disco started out in the 70s, it started to get more popular towards the later time in the 70s, early 80s, with the rise of with Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta in it. Amazing movie, and also really took disco to the next level with the Bee Gees. But before that, it was like a whole movement, because back in the day, or even today in a lot of places, people of the same sex were not allowed to dance together, no matter what. And it's just so upsetting, because people take these kinds of things for granted, but there was so much trouble that people went through for that. That's just so devastating. And then stuff like that would make queer people want to just lay low and suppress the way that they feel, and it's just so sad. But disco gave people an opportunity to dance together, because in those clubs, people of the same sex, they could dance together, and that's amazing. And people of any color, anything, just you were accepted. And that's such a beautiful thing with disco, because it's such a it clashes so much with rock music at the same time. And not only that, but women were able to express themselves even sexually, because it's kind of even today it's taboo for women to express their sexualities and their pleasures in music. With WAP, there was a ton of backlash, but really there's so many songs of males doing the same exact thing, and they're just yeah, pump it. And it's just no. If women can't do it too, then it's just come on, man. But it all started off with disco, and it's not to say that women weren't singing about sex back in the day, but they were definitely more accepted during the disco age. For example, AC/DC has a song called Big Balls, and it's literally just the dude talking about how big his balls are. And then, to contrast that, Donna Summer, she has a song called Love to Love You Baby, and she's just moaning. It's basically just 8 minutes straight of her moaning and saying love to love you baby. And that is so iconic. Yes. And then another really big women having power over their sexuality thing was Lady Marmalade, or Marmalade, I say it wrong. But that song is about a sex worker just doing her job, and it's a song about it, and it's bringing more acceptance to the fact that women can feel pleasure too, and it's not a gross thing or anything. It's just excellent, you know? And the whole thing with disco is the tempo. It makes people want to dance. It's called a walk and feel, and then adding a groove to it. So it's like a t, 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 and then they add more stuff, like in Disco Inferno. Yeah, and not only that, but disco also made the rise of the DJ, which is super cool, because it'd just be people releasing their music and people listening to the same things. But in discos, certain DJs would actually gain popularity, and then people would try to find where that one DJ is and keep going to the clubs that they play at. And it's cool. You're not gonna hear any mashups or remixes of all these things. It's just a new form of art from art, and it's so cool to me, at least. Yeah, that's a pretty good gist of the history of disco, and I'm gonna take it back to you, present day me.
Thank you so much for that, past me. And today, we're gonna be interviewing my boyfriend, the musician, Brian Loog. There he is.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm okay. I'm good.
That's Good. Is it cool if I ask you some disco trivia?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. This one's about balls. Disco balls. Thank you. So, when was the disco ball invented?
1930.
No. Why would the people in the Great Depression want a disco ball?
They need it. They need the light in their
They don't
life.
have money for food. You think they're gonna go out buying a disco ball?
The 1920s. Oh wait.
Yes,
Yeah, it was the 20s.
It
The
was
20s,
the
the great.
20s.
No, the 20s had the depression.
No, it did not. It was the 30s. You had to pay attention in class. It was the 30s. The 20s was like the Great Gatsby era.
The depression started in 1929.
Okay, which is closer to what? The 1930s.
It's still the 20s.
No.
That's the 20s. And it's the 30s.
On that note, thank you for being on the show. It was a good time. Thank you. And good night.